Well, peace, friends. I'm Pastor Tom Arthur, the pastor of Sycamore Creek United Methodist Church in Lansing, Michigan. And I'm also the leader of the Reach team. And I'm here today with Gary Stepp, the Associate Director of Congregational Vibrancy of the Michigan Conference. Gary, it is so good to have you here with us today.
Tom, it's so good to be here with you.
We're talking about evangelism and justice, how you can help your church grow while also engaging the big justice issues of the day. That's the topic for the Reach Summit, which is this is a really important week for people who want to do evangelism and justice and engage the Reach Summit. What's coming up this weekend, Gary?
This is the week, Tom. It's still time to jump in. The Reach Summit is Friday and Saturday, the 22nd and 23rd. So
you can get off your procrastination bandwagon, and you can still register. But we want to give you a little taste of everything you're going to. I mean, there is so much going on this weekend with the summit. It's a hybrid summit, both in person and online. Mm-hmm. And we want to give you a taste of that before Gary and I come back and just reflect on how important it is that our churches are doing evangelism and justice. All right. So here's what you're going to experience at this year's Reach Summit. Well, peace, friends. It's no secret that in this post-pandemic era, churches around the globe are struggling with fewer people coming back to church.
This year, we're thrilled to welcome Nona Jones as our Saturday keynoter. Nona heads global faith-based partnerships at Facebook and is also the founder of the new organization Faith and Prejudice. Nona will outline the huge opportunity that social media offers our churches to create social ministry. Take a listen.
When I was hired at Facebook, this is the reason why. Mark had a study commission to find out all of the different types of communities that exist in America, whether it was civic, parenting, fitness, etc. And what they found was of Americans reporting membership in institutional communities of faith, church, mosque, synagogue, etc. 3 out of 4 of them found those communities meaningful. Not only are communities of faith the largest communities, but they're also the most meaningful. But less than 2% of the 200 million Facebook groups on our platform are faith-based, and almost 0% are connected with a church. There are over 1 billion people using Facebook groups every day. And almost 0% on our platform are connected with a church.
Then she'll talk about how ministry and outreach must include learning how to bridge racial divides and promote reconciliation.
The Reach Summit also includes 2 very special speakers on Friday night, Rachel Gilmore and Paul Nixon, leading an all-summit workshop for everyone who attends. They'll help us explore the growing correlation between evangelism and justice, especially in our younger generations.
Saturday's events also include live and interactive workshops, including adapting to reach and disciple new people in a post-pandemic world with Debbie Nixon from Church of the Resurrection, growing online faith communities with consultant Kathy Townley, growing young, restructuring your church to thrive, creating more compelling online content, and lay leadership and leadership in this post-pandemic era.
Reach Summit is still mostly virtual in 2021. All you need is a computer and internet access. Once you register, you'll receive an email that will describe all the details and directions for where to be and how to get there. However, this year, you do have the opportunity to participate as one of 25 people in our live studio audience right here at Sycamore Creek Church in Lansing, Michigan. If you're interested, make sure that you sign up, register early.
See more details and register, visit reachsummit.org. Also be sure to check out the Reach Movement on Facebook, where you can find the latest news, videos, and webinars.
Who is God calling you to reach? And not only who, but how? Find out this year at the Reach Summit. All right, Gary, we're doing a little guerrilla marketing today, just jumping on Facebook, YouTube, sharing this out. That gave people a taste of what they're going to receive. There's so many benefits of participating, but there's this bigger question of evangelism and justice. Why that theme this year? Why is that important? What from your experience, both as a pastor of a local church and associate director of congregational vibrancy, why both of those things together?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, Tom, evangelism is my passion. It's been my heart since I started in ministry. Even before that, when I was in the local church, you have to understand that it's about changing lives, reaching new people, right? And that's
I get on an airplane and I don't want to talk to the person next to me, and you get on an airplane and you've like by the end of it, you've prayed for them and learned like all their challenges in life, and everyone's in tears, and you definitely have that gift.
Well, what I found out, it's not about, getting people to come to church, obviously, right? When you're doing that, it's about the love of somebody next to you. And that speaks about evangelism, right? That there's a lot of hurting people, but also speaks about justice. Who is sitting next to you, reaching out to them, getting to know them on a very personal basis. I think that's part of justice, is getting to know each other. And Jesus loved everyone around him, and wanted, ministry happened on the street, and that's where we need to be.
Yeah. I think about the mission of the local church as the Book of Discipline describes it, to make disciples of Jesus Christ. And I always like Bishop Willimon, I heard one time say that there's one word missing in that, and that's the word more. So I've always said that our mission of the local church is to make more disciples of Jesus Christ. And that's kind of the evangelism side of things. For the transformation of the world, or to transform the world.
Right.
And I think that's the justice side of things. It's transformation for equity, for justice, for a broad, as you can't, my arms go off the screen here to get how big, justice is this wide reach. Like my camera's not even big enough. How big can you get the reach of Jesus to the world? And so justice is that reach. Evangelism is that making more disciples of Jesus. Gary, it seems to me like churches tend to be gifted in one or the other, but not both. Is that your experience as well?
Yeah, actually, they're gifted more towards justice or outreach. And actually, we're doing a really better job, I would say a good job of doing outreach. The problem is there's two mission fields, right? How I describe it. And so the mission field is the people in the church caring for one another, praying for each other, and all that. But the second mission field are those that are not there yet, those we haven't reached. So we're doing a good job with outreach, but Bishop Snazy says the highest form of hospitality is getting to know the person that you're reaching out to and sharing your story. And I think that's where we drop the ball, Tom. So I think we're doing a much better job with justice and moving beyond the walls of the church. Now we have to move beyond the walls of ourselves.
Yeah. I might quibble just a little bit with that, in the sense I think most churches are good at charity, but not necessarily justice, like the structural things in our society. We're good at handing out free food. We're good at handing out clothing. We're good at some of those things, but when it comes to sort of advocating for how does our world need to be transformed so that outcomes aren't predicted by things like race or whether you're born into poverty or which schools you go to, like where you live. That's a trickier thing. I think we're going to get into that this year in the Reach Summit, beyond just like, how do you do a food pantry as a church?
But I mean, when you start to share yourself in those areas, right?
Yeah.
You begin to experience something beyond yourself, and you start to engage that social justice issue. But I think churches, you're right, have to go beyond that.
Yeah.
For so long, I said we are loving each other to death but we're not loving the ones around us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why churches are shrinking. We're doing a great job caring for each other, but we're not doing a great job of caring for the world and challenging the current systems, right? And the structures that are really, people have struggled with, minorities have struggled with for so many years, right?
Yeah.
It's just incredible what we're learning in the last year, I would say.
So at this year's Reach Summit on Friday night, you're going to get a chance to hear Rachel Gilmore and Paul Nixon, who are doing, it's really a conference-wide workshop. They're not doing a keynote. They're doing a workshop for everybody on justice and evangelism, which will give people a taste of the network that they're going to be leading, where each month you're going to learn from someone who has been effective at both growing their church numerically, the number of people that they're reaching, and having a significant justice component to their ministry. I mean, so they're going to give you a workshop on Friday night that gives you a taste of that. And then on Saturday, Nona Jones, super excited that she's going to be our keynote speaker. And then she's also going to do a live Q&A with us for about an hour, following up on, of course, what she's best known for, which is her book, From Social Media to Social Ministry, doing that evangelism work, that outreach work online, particularly on Facebook. But, Gary, I remember when I came back to you and I said, hey, I just learned that Nona has started this new thing. It's called Faith and Prejudice.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we would be amiss to not engage that as well.
Right.
So we decided, let's not just have her talk about social media and social ministry, but let's also have her talk about social justice in this Faith and Prejudice work that she's been doing. So that's the third component of what she's going to be talking about and what we're going to be talking about. And she just has some wonderful reflections and thoughts on that. And how do we use social media to do all of that?
Yeah. What an expansion, right? On the social media, she's creating these social media groups, just really challenging churches, right? To go beyond their comfort zone, to create these online churches, basically, is what they are. Online communities of faith that come together, pray together, be together. And now she's challenging us in the social justice, arena. Really a great challenge.
We got a couple comments. Carter says more transformation of the world. That's absolutely, I think, what the justice piece is. And Jeremy Wicks asks a good question. Will the sessions be archived and available for access post-conference? Yes, but you do have to register for the conference to be able to access them, Jeremy. So they will be available. Here's one of the great things I think we were able to make work this year. Gary, tell us a little bit about the group registration.
Yeah, so you can come as an individual. Yeah, and so for $199, you can bring as many people as you want. It's a group registration. You could watch it together. You could interact together. You could be in person or you can be online as that group. You could come together at your church to watch it. I think it's just a great feature, right? To be able to impact so many in your church or anybody that wants to take part in that group.
One of the words that we've learned this year is asynchronous. I don't think I've ever used that word before the last 18 months. But you can register for the summit and then engage it asynchronously. Although I really think there's something powerful about setting aside Friday night and this Saturday to be participating live. We have set this up this year to be fully engaged. You're going to be able to see everybody who's in the summit. You're going to be able to chat with each other. You're going to be able to chat with the speakers. This is not just a watch kind of thing. We're trying to really create a sense of online community of this year's summit.
And Tom, you and I have talked about this so much. Online, you feel like you're disconnected, especially in a webinar. So Tom and I were focused on making sure that this was very interactive. People could see each other, do small group breakouts.
Lots of breakouts.
Yeah.
Nona Jones' keynote is in 3 segments, about 15 minutes each. And then you break into breakout rooms to talk for a couple minutes about a question and then come back for the next part of it. Like, you're not just sitting in front of a computer all day absorbing. It's a full engagement experience. So you can register at reachsummit.org. It is not too late to do that. Although it's going to, it's this Friday, this Saturday, October 22nd and 23rd. Register at reachsummit.org to help your church grow and to multiply. And also to do so in ways that are just. So let's see. It looks like we've covered all the chat questions. Thanks for hanging out with us here for this little guerrilla marketing. And we will see you this Friday. Until then, friends, be curious, be creative, be compassionate, and peace out.
God bless. Take care, all.